We're live, Mr. Wade. Are you, sir?
Good night. Thank you. Good night. Good night to our viewers, both at home and abroad. Welcome to our 361 edition of our Belizean Affairs show. Welcome. And as always, the one and only Mr. Leonard Brackett. It's a pleasure to sit in your company, sir.
The pleasure is
And
mine too, Mr. Chairman.
and as usual, we have our other guest, Mr. Morrison. He if he gets at his location in time, he's gonna tune in to us. And then we have our next senior panelist, Mr. Gregory Brackett, the man who show and tell. So
So,
yes, so he must maybe in the back somewhere, but he can join us whenever he sees fit for him to enter the show. And as always, Leonard, we have our sequence that we run our program, and we start with a prayer followed by a reading, and then I ask you to please, we go straight into it, lead us in a prayer, sir.
okay, and so I'll just bow my head. Divine loving Father, thou who art the creator of heaven and earth, and all that in them are, into thy hands we commend ourselves, asking that thou would continue to be merciful unto us, that thou would continue to grant us health, courage, strength, perseverance, wisdom, knowledge, and understanding, and that thou would bless our family members, each and every one of them, as if they were each mentioned by name and number. That thou would bless our friends also, that thou would bless our country of Belize, its people and leadership, and that thou would also bless this country of the United States, its people and leadership. We also pray, loving Father, that thou would bless the rest of humanity, especially those people who are in war zones, earthquake areas, tornadoes, flooding, and all manner of devastation on the face of this earth. Please continue to be merciful unto us, we pray. For us, His mercies in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen.
You, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Leonard, for that warm
You're welcome
prayer,
here.
and considering the situation around the world,
Amen.
it's not getting any better. So every day it's some manner of issue that affects the poor and less fortunate, and affect people in a whole. So the world do need prayer, Leonard. So thank you.
You're welcome, Mr.
Um,
Chairman.
I'm gonna do a reading from Romans 2 1 to 10, and it reads, "Therefore, you have no excuse, O man, every one of you who judges, for in passing judgment on another, you condemn yourself, because you, the judge, practice the same, the very same things. We know that the judgment of God rightly falls on those who practice such things. Do you suppose, O man, you who judge those who practice such things and yet do them yourself, that you will escape the judgment of God? Or do you presume on the riches, on the riches of his kindness and forbearance and patience, not knowing that God's kindness is meant to lead you to repentance?
Amen.
But because of your hard and impenitent heart, you are storing up wrath for yourself on the day of wrath, when God's righteous judgment will be revealed. He will render to each one according to his works. To those who, by patient in well doing, seek for glory and honor and immorality, he will give eternal life. But for those who are self seeking and do not obey the truth, but obey unrighteousness, there will be wrath and fury. There will be tribulation and distress for every human being who does evil. The
Amen.
Jews first, and also the Greek. But glory and honor and peace for everyone who does good. The Jews first, and also the Greek. For God shows no partiality. That's my reading, Leonard, from Romans
Amen.
chapter 2, 1 to 10. Would you
Nice
like
cautionary,
to
nice cautionary words, Mr. Chairman.
thank you,
Yes, sir.
Leonard?
You're welcome, sir.
Um, you know, Leonard, there's every time we sit here, bringing to the nation and our people, both at home and abroad, the issues. Seems like every day it's something new. Every day we see evil under the sun. Every day. So I'm pleased to sit with you here tonight again, Leonard, one more time to share our views on issues that how we see uh in our eyes, and we speak truth to the issues that we are talking about.
Amen.
Um, like I say, always we do not show no partiality to anyone when they do wrong, but when they do right, we applaud their righteousness. Um, Leonard, a public announcement. Leonard, you want to give a little public announcement? You see the level of, we are always talking about these mayhem in the traffic, in our traffic, and all these you know collisions and fatalities on our highways, in our towns, in the city. And then Leonard, there is this storm that we have to, so I would like you to give a little cautionary to our people, please.
Yes, sir. Uh, First, I'll speak about the storm because I've been tracking that particular storm for quite a few days now, and it looks very ominous. And I just hope that it passes us by as many others have done in the past. Um,
Amen.
Sometime when we pray and ask the good Lord to spare us, we don't realize that we're asking Him to spare us because of our own selfish reasons. Because when we get spared, somebody else get hit. And the good Lord is the Lord of all of us together. So, but nevertheless, I think we have a fair share of excitement already, and we also have too much criminal conduct going on the part of the governing elites, too much scampishness, too much selfishness in terms of reading up themselves and dispossessing our poorer people of their opportunity to gain a piece of land, as in the case of the young man in the tribe clean up a piece of land in the bushes and plant and stuff. And ministers, family member gone and cut down the man's stuff and burn up the man's place and, mistreat them and try to chase them out of there because they want to take over those people's hard labor. The place looks good now, so they want it now.
Yes, sir.
And they're going to go behind the people and get permission to own the property and kick the people them off. And that's happening over and over too often in Belize. The political elite and the politically well connected and the rich people who are well economically healed don't care if the next person in the society doesn't get fed, clothed, or taken care of in any manner. It's all about greed and selfishness. And I just wish that somehow or another, because, let me say it like this. When I was growing up as a little kid, the neighborliness of Belize people and the way people used to relate to each other and the respect that people used to accord to each other. I'm not saying that people were just perfect saints and we never had issues or problems, but not to the degree and the level that we have them today. Today, you're not part of what's going on in terms of the day-to-day issues, but you feel it because you're a human being, you know. And that's the reason why every time when I pray, I always ask the Lord for, bless even those who are unaware that they need the blessing in the first place. Because some people feel like, well, they have their life and they want to do what they want with it, and there's no accountability for the privilege of living life. So I want to go also and make a comment on the hurricanes that is out there staring us down. We have had quite a few bad weathers pass through during the course of this year, but none of them hit us directly. And I hope this one will pass through and go out the way and not hit us either, because, like I said, over the last few years, we have had enough of our own excitement.
Amen.
There's a lot of people who got hurt by the last hurricane that came through Belize, and some of them from the last flood that came through, and still have not been helped so far. I remember you mentioned that
Say
quite
true on
often.
that, Leonard. So true.
They still have not been given no assistance. Instead of giving people some assistance, they're finding ways to take away. It's all about the big hustle. How to get more money out of squeeze more money out of the system. And like for example, with this thing with the Chalilo Dam and the other Baka Dam and the other ones, them, our government is planning to try and buy that stuff, then go into the house already and read this stuff and try to put them proposals into final action. But I'm 100% sure about what I'm about to say right now. That is that Mr. Briceño have no knowledge or idea or understanding about the silt problem that dam
But
have.
that was one of my item we were going to
Okay.
discuss, right?
Okay.
So
Well,
yeah,
I'll leave it, and then when you bring it up, then we'll discuss.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
And but
That
besides that,
storm, yeah, that storm, Leonard, that storm is, people need to take heed, right? 'Cause
very much, sir, very much so, because you know we could be praying, like I said, for it not to hit us, but it will hit somebody somewhere. If you go north and hit them people at Chetomal or Coruscant, or if you go further north and hit them people at Merida, Yucatan area. And if you go further north, you can go through the Gulf, or maybe you might go further north and go across the Cuba. You know, and all of us should pray and hope that the good Lord smile on us again, because this one look bad.
I have a little fear in that one there, Leonard. That you say we say look bad. Well, I have a little fear, right? So
So, I yield back, Mr. Chairman.
yes, thank you, Leonard, for
You're welcome, sir.
your observation. And the fatalities on the highways, Leonard, keep happening. Um, you see these motorbikes, these two wheelers.
Mm-hmm.
Every day, Leonard, there's a fatality every day. And don't talk about maybe the transport buses and other vehicles, no, but mainly fatalities with these two-wheel motorbikes.
Like Greg used to say, they ride like lightning and then crash like thunder.
Honda.
And when they crash,
Leonard,
they leave their children and the other family members behind to
yes,
take
sir.
up the slack and
Yes,
take
sir.
care of their, sometimes they don't die. If they left mangled up, it's for the rest of their life. The rest of the family members going to have to fend for them,
Yes, sir.
you know.
I wish that the public, these young kids, because a lot of them accident, Leonard, are involving youngsters, right?
So,
Um, I would hope that they learn and they're watching how these everyday accidents are and they do something. I'm not saying that they should stop riding the bikes because, Leonard, a lot of people ride these bikes every day because of the
poor,
economy, Leonard.
poor
They
man,
cannot afford
poor man
other
transportation.
transportation. The bike is cheaper for them to commute. And
Yes,
I
sir.
hope that this government get it. Why saying this? I see that the the ex commissioner who got a nice little cheese as being a CEO, like nice little reward, he
Mm-hmm.
coming down with a fist hard on the. Let me withdraw that word hard. Um, he is going to be implementing some new measures for these motorcycle um, users. He had a press conference and he outlined and about his transport officers and what what he expect from them, and this and that, and nothing that what they shouldn't be doing, Leonard. Nothing. He's saying nothing that what is not right. Everything that he is saying is the right thing to do, and as per the traffic officers being for them being out there, know their job, know what they should and shouldn't do, and know the the level of responsibility that the department has to the nation. He's spinning all this. So I have said a little comment, right? That you know always, and it seems they know the right thing. These people, they aren't stupid. They know the right thing to do,
Mm-hmm.
and it's like when the Briseño and his minions go out and speak on behalf of the Belizean people. They speak all the right things that they should be doing for the people, but in fact, they're all lies, right? All lies. In lies in a sense that the best healthcare system and the best this and the best that and Belize is this and Belize is that and we have no problem and you know all the nice things that they should be saying, but they're not practicing it, Leonard. That's all I'm saying, right? So as for the the constant accidents and the revamping in the traffic department and the traffic laws and making little provisions for these bike riders, whoever they're going to do it, I just hope that he implement it and it works, right? I just hope and pray, like many other things that fail, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I just hope that because this, you know, it hurts me a little bit because I have lost friends, I have lost relatives to these accidents, right? So I speak about it because it seems that it's getting more and more and more and more, right? But at the same time, Leonard, they're passing these laws. I just hope that they do right by fixing the highways the proper way, by going mile by mile and see the hills on these roads that they call highways and good highways. I just hope that they go mile by mile and see where it's terrible,
Mm-hmm.
outright terrible. So I just hope that they take into consideration that stuff, That's one of the items that's contributing to the accidents if they do not know,
You
right?
blow out of the tires them when the road is not in good condition, and
Right.
some of them drive so fast, and the tires not in
So
good condition either.
yeah, so that's all we want to say on that public announcement there, Leonard. You said something about the storm out there that they should people we need to take heed. We just can't say well like it's gonna turn north again like all the rest that comes that we've been the good Lord has been, have mercy on us,
Mm-hmm.
right? So, don't take that for granted that, you know, there's so much evil in this world, right? So maybe we get a wake up call for our evil doings, right? So just be very mindful and take heed. Leonard, like I said, there's a lot going on. Um, I want to talk a little about the fortress that you had touched, the fortress deal, right?
So,
About our utilities. And not to mention, Leonard, the 22% WASA increase that they want to impose on the Belizean people, right? So we'll talk about that. Um, Poverty, right? Um, what the leader of this nation is saying about poverty and what percent we are and unemployment and what percent we are, right? Um, then we have the migration issue in terms of people coming into Belize, and Belize had signed this deal with Donald Trump, right? That Belize will take the deportees from some of the deportees, and we will house them for him. And some of these deportees that he is deporting and their country, like for instance, maybe Salvador do not want some of these people, Belize will take them. Nicaragua, Honduras, and all the other part of here in this region, Mexico, Guatemala, and they're, because the man says, well, when the question was asked, why, and well, these people, humanitarian and this and that, and you know, the some of these countries do not want these people, so Belize will take them. We will take them, right? That's what that man says, right? In one, if you don't believe me, play back, a couple of his rhetoric, right? So we're going to talk about that, and Leonard, there's something we had talked about these bus permits. Remember when the PUP had just came into power, and right away Miss Dolores Balderramos Garcia, I think I said it right,
mm-hmm.
gave his driver a bus run, and it was controversy down there in Belize Rural. So a very good friend of mine, Mr. Pollard, an ex-policeman too, Leonard, a
Mm-hmm.
black man,
Mm-hmm.
right? He went through all the necessary requisite, and to know on, you know, for no reason they turned him down, right? And well, let us hope that he gets back all his money he paid, to get this bus run, right? But we'll talk about that. And Leonard, in Belize, like something is hovering, and this nation is in a lot of trouble, Leonard, because every week there's a domestic murder, pretty much, right? Um, Incidents involving domestic dispute. We're going to talk about that because um, lately now, because this horrible uh, fire happened in Orange Walk where involved a domestic dispute where four people died. Because it's Orange Walk, it's big news item, and the Briseno administration, you know, um, they blow up on that, and even his wife. I don't know what title
Mr.
she has.
Chairman, Mr. Chairman, we better be careful that you don't put one so you there too.
All right. Well, that is a good if you do that, right? Because a daddy so you need to be, right? All the illegal activities that happen in the north that include some high level crime. But anyway, we want to talk about that because in the past there are lots of domestic killing, that had happened and then failed. They had never come public and denouncing to that extent until this incident happened, this murder happened in, death happened in Orange Walk. Then, it's big item now, right? I'm not saying they shouldn't, but why not from long time ago? And then we want to talk about, redistricting, right? So let's see, how much we could go in details with these. And I want to welcome, I said, I know Greg is in the back. Mr. Gregory Brackett is in the back queuing up something, and he will come in as, whenever he sees fit, and he's ready. So I want to welcome our next senior panelist, Mr. Gregory Brackett. Welcome, my brother. It's a pleasure to have you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I want to say
Nadia.
good night to you guys. It's always a pleasure sitting virtually with you guys. I want to say good night to the people at home and abroad and thank those who tune in after our show, and also thank those who listen to us every Monday, Wednesdays, and Friday, and welcome them to this 361st edition of Belizean Affairs. I go back to you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Greg, I don't know if you, I think you're in tune, right? So, but anyway, Leonard, you want to go first on any of the
Mr.
because
Chairman,
when you
if
start
I may,
with the
Mr.
sources, but then
Chairman,
I'll go to Greg because Greg will bring up something and we could.
Yeah, Greg was asking for him to go
Yes.
ahead and
Go ahead, Greg. Go ahead.
Mr. Chairman, I listened to you speaking about domestic violence and the effects it has had on many of families. Some individual has not come presently because they are afraid, and some of them live this for the rest of their life. A hazardous life to live. Mr. Chairman, on this show, I have said this over and over and over. I have spoken about this scenario, but I will not say what I had said before until I am through with the tape, Mr. Chairman.
He already had pled guilty, my understanding, to an assault that happened to her. And he also had an outstanding charge of rape of her. So he pled guilty to assault. Why he was released, and he was released on bail for this crime of rape against her that he had been arrested for. And that was the tiny window that he was released on. And then she had to come, I guess, from her village, which was apparently quite far from Orange Walk, to get in. This was a long-standing violent relationship, apparently. And many people commenting, why didn't she just leave him? Why didn't she? She had left this man a long time ago. She had already started another life, and they were not together. So what else do we want people to do?
From my experience working with the Antigua and Barbuda Center and the women's department there, I know that even if it's after 4, after 10, after 11 in the night, you could still get a restraining order. What's your take on that, how we do things?
Yes, we feel like, I think in this country, that everything closes when 5 o'clock rolls around. everybody goes home and everything ends. We need to have through the police department some kind of emergency services. The police force is open 24/7. And so there should be some kind of emergency service to the police at the very least, that you can get an emergency order, that then yes you come in to the police, to the court when the court is open.
Mr. Chairman, I want to specifically address this. I want to say that the present government wants to make the 13th Amendment for outsiders, but the government does not want to make the right laws to help people of domestic violence. I have said it on this platform before. Until our government and legislature get really serious, and when someone
Your voice is gone, Mr. Chairman.
You went
Yeah.
you went mute there, Greg.
He, his speakerphone is not
Got
on mute,
froze.
but
Yeah.
something that happened. I think it might have been frozen. Yeah.
Yeah, you got froze up. So, but
Uh,
Leonard, you want to comment while Greg comes in?
yes, sir.
Very, very, very critical situation in this country, Leonard. Very critical situation as I speak. It's a pandemic. Go ahead.
The problem is that it's not just only members of the society at large. We also know that we have, for example, police officers who are supposed to be peace officers getting involved in mayhem against other. Some of them are their partners. Some of them are just other strange. But I mean, the bottom line is the way the police officers and the system and the government exculpating these people who committing crimes under the color of law and exculpating themselves and their bodies and their friends. It just makes the rest of the society gets more onerous. It creates an environment. It's like the devil is let loose, and all manner of criminal activity is going on. You go to the different government departments for some services. If you get that service, you happen to be lucky because you paid a little more in order to get that service. Too many things are happening that shouldn't be happening, and everything is getting out of control. And the problem is that those who can make a difference or who have the authority vested in them to help make a difference are busy doing other activities. What's going on right now is not touching them. It's not affecting them. So they are spending their time dealing with the big hustle. It's not about government management or government good governance anymore. It's about everybody for themselves, and those who can't help themselves, so what? Tough luck. But it's unfortunate because that's not the way it's supposed to be. I give up, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Leonard. It breaks my heart, to see where these domestic dispute ends up and how it ends up most of the time, right? I go back to Greg because
thank
he
you,
was
Chairman.
on to something and he
think,
got froze up. Back to you, Greg.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I think I got a hit just now. You know how that goes.
Yes, sir.
But what I was saying, I have said it on this platform, until our government wants to get serious, our legislators, that when these incidents happen, even if the wife, fiance, or the person who report these incidents don't want to go to trial, the government, the DPP department should pick up the case and there should be no excuse for no one that commits such crime. Period. Had this been happening, we would have had ministers been caught up in this position, and it would have set an example. And I don't have to call names. Period. I go back to you, sir.
Thank you. Um, thank you for that input there on this critical issue that is facing our nation. And thank you for that input too, Leonard, because
You're welcome, Mr. Chairman.
it's real. And you know, as for me, you know, I have always said, that any man that lifts a fist to fist a woman is less than a man, in my view, right? Um, that individual should be dealt with according to the law and right away. Don't wait. But the problem is larger, right? The way I see that, Greg and Leonard, right, is that it's an issue that had involved uh, ministers, had involved people in big places, in high places,
Mm-hmm.
our law enforcement, like you rightfully says, Leonard. Um, and no one seems to want to push that, Greg, that you're talking about, that pass that law, that stiff law, and let and the lack of you know judicious, the judicial system, is failing us, right? And like the lady says, Greg, and I know that after 5 o'clock, nothing function. Monday to Friday, after Friday, nothing function. So what happened? And it's a very serious situation, right? It's very serious because here you have the girlfriend. They call about this idiot. They kick him up and they want to stab him up and chop him up and pull a gun and all that and causing mayhem in the house. And the police, they take forever, right? And when they go there, sometimes they really don't do all this domestic thing, and we don't want to deal with that. But go make a report at the station, man. And then, because the level of fear and the female, sometimes guys don't want to press issues, right, or press charges. But like you rightfully says, Greg, I could remember in back in the days, like you says, as even if the female does not want to press charges, I could remember we used to press charges on these. There was charges leveled, right, on these situations, right? So we have been failing. Um, you see them, go in for domestic violence, and they get bail, right? Which is, sometimes the level of the crime, Leonard, does not warrant bail, but these criminals get bail, right? And it's a system that is failing, and something needs to be done drastically and soon, right? Regardless of maybe some do not want to pass these strict laws because of their behavior, these ministers, because of their behavior. And like, I'm not going to call name, right? Because we have a lot of them that, been taken to court or had been reported as been abusing their spouses, or abusing females or abusing some kind of a situation, right? But it gets swept under the rug 99% of the time, right? Why? Because somebody in authority committed that crime. Some minister, some CEO, some heads of department, some big man, some policeman, some friends of minister or so on, and it gets swept under the rug, right? And these female left to hold this burden, Leonard. They left to hold this like they have done something wrong, right? And a lot of them stays, because of well, I may stay because I don't have 2 kids and I don't have 3 kids and I don't have one, and things, so I may stay. And you think that that fool went better off his action? No, he will keep doing what he's doing until maybe get rid of her, because we see it happen. Either get chopped up or shut up or taken to a dump site and mutilated, right? It happens in this country. It's not looked at seriously. That's like a petty crime, Leonard, in this country. Petty. Don't worry about police. Don't worry about that, right? Like I say, I've always said, until it start hitting home, like we have always talked about the actions of the policeman, Leonard, based on what we have been seeing. And we have warned, right? We have warned, right? Until it hits home. So, Greg, on that issue, until it starts happening to a prime minister or to a minister or to a head of department or a commissioner of police or somebody high in position, high in society, until something heinous happen to one of those individuals, then they're going to consider passing strict laws. Yes. Back to you, Greg, if you want
Mr. Chairman, thank you. But I must say this. Domestic violence come in all aspects. When we look at our government, who is participating in domestic violence in the form of kidnapping, where would the example be set? They are the ones who are supposed to be held at a higher standards. And when these acts are committed and they protect their own, it is a total violation of our Constitution and what it stands for. It makes it seem as though Belize does not have a democracy and a constitution that is the law of the land. I go back to you, Mr. Chairman.
back to you, go to you, Leonard, to
Yes,
close
sir.
off that item.
As you have always said, Mr. Chairman, the gross violators are the very ones that covers for themselves and others. And
Exactly.
because there's no convictions, they can't be accused of having committed the crime, which is not correct either. Because by the mere fact that you have the plaintiffs or the aggrieved or the people who are hurt complaining, it means that the crime must have been committed or something must have been done wrong. But those, for example, who are in the police formation are looked after by their colleagues and they don't get charged, for civil criminal conduct. They get exculpated. And because they're already trained and they want to keep them as police officers in the system, or because they have done other wrong deeds for higher ups or other bigger people, it's like they're operating the system like a gang system, of which they complain a lot about. They complain about the gangs. But then they take the state authority and power and use it to commit crimes themselves, which is even worse than the average citizen committing a crime. I recall someone asked the question the other day, why is it that some of the UDP people, they're so in love with Mr. Budna? Of course, that was tongue in cheek, I would guess. I don't think that they were seriously, putting that to be believed that kind of way. Because very few people would associate with Mr. Budna's devious conduct. As a matter of fact, you have a few people who would say that his conduct is not even devious if they go to the extreme. But yet they are willing to say that because Ms. Panton brought up the Budna affair in the legislature, which she was entitled to do anyhow because that's a state, it is perceived to have been a state crime with state powers, that those who are governing our country are answerable to. And those questions need to be put to them in the form of the House of Representatives. That's the place where those matters are brought up because they relate to policies of state and the failure of our governance system. But some people take it and make joke out of it. Okay? They don't understand the significance and the seriousness of it. What these people as government officials do and get away with, they will do again and get away with again, over and over. And until it reaches the door of the people who hear and abet them and who uphold them and agree with them. As a matter of fact, a statement was made by Ms. Matura questioning why is it that the opposition people even brought up the Budna matter in the House, as if they are ignorant of the fact that that's where that matter needed to be brought up and dealt with. They were complaining about the opposition people and the leader of the opposition in specific, Ms. Panton, not having brought up in the House of Representatives about the mother and the child, that was done harm to. The bottom line is that when you have this perceived state powers in action to commit crimes under the color of law, it is not the same as just a wanton crime being committed by a civilian against another civilian. The powers of the state, when suborned, are much bigger than the powers of any one single civilian. As much as the crime being committed when somebody is killed, the end result is one and the same. In Mr. Budna's case, he wasn't killed. This young lady or the little kid that was burnt up, they got killed. But that does not mean that you exculpate the officials of government who are responsible for the powers of state, and you don't complain about what they are doing while you're complaining about what the opposition is doing in terms of bringing up the matter, because the matter is a serious matter. It's not only just a local Belizean matter, it's an international matter. I yield back, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Leonard. Thank you.
You're
So
welcome,
right
sir.
on that. Greg, I want to, I had mentioned in my opening, I wanted to talk a little about this fortress nice deal for the Belizean people. Right? Can we, shed some light on that, guys? Greg, you want to go first, or?
Mr. Chairman, can you go to Mr. Brackett first?
Go ahead, Leonard. Go ahead on, because Leonard, you wanted to
Thank you.
say something from the initial, right? So go ahead.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman.
Let's
Thank you,
touch
Greg.
that subject because very germane.
That subject is very critical, and I can add commentary in more than one way. I can add commentary from an economic perspective. I can add commentary from an engineering perspective.
Go ahead, Leonard.
Just a minute. I can add commentary from a construction perspective. And more than all, I can add a commentary about the standings or the status of that facility, those facilities, because 3 of them. We are not getting the deal that the Prime Minister is trying to put to us to accept that we are getting. We are looking at fool's gold, for example. That dam initially was built, according to them, on earthquake fault that they at the time did not recognize. They could not have recognized it because they did not do any studies to figure that out. And all they wanted was they had the space, they had the location, and they had the money and the material and the ability to be able to build the dam. And the dam has been there, the first one, at least going on 30 years now. Does anybody have any idea how much siltation has occurred in those lakes up there? When I say siltation, I'm speaking about all the mud, all the peat, the grass, the leaves, the branches, everything that has gone into that area and has melted away and settled at the bottom has been causing problems to that facility. So even if the design would have been correct and the construction would have been correct, which they are not, tell them Leonard Brackett says so. I know what grounds I stand on when I make that declaration and that statement. Okay? I used to do design of dams for Sverger Parsons and Associates. I used to do analytical studies of climatic and water flow for the Paradis Comanche river flow here in California on behalf of Bechtel Corporation. And I did additional studies in regards to engineering and design. So when I'm talking about this thing, it's not because I just want to open up my mouth and have something to say. You just kill your time. That's why I follow up the statement by saying, tell them Leonard Brackett said so. Because when I open my mouth and speak, I speak to the facts. I don't diddle-daddle, and I don't make believe. As to the economics of that dam, the life of that dam is almost at the point now where major repairs will be required. So the company that used to own it and made all the money on the front end doesn't want to reinvest any more money to bring it back up to standards. Why? They don't need to. The government is willing to buy them out so that the government will take all money from the treasury, buy that dam and the shares them, and turn around and sell those shares to their preferred friends, relatives, and among themselves. And they have already given indication that anybody who buy into that facility, because they're not going to keep it for the Belizeans as they're saying, that we are buying it for the Belizeans to get a better deal from the electrical bill than we have right now. No, your bill will still keep going up. Those who will own and control the dam will still have you over the barrel, and they will still be dealing with you with blue books, because they will keep making the money off of you, the people who need the services from that dam, so long as the dam is operational. And like I said, the reason why the dam has been having problems is not because of lack of water, it's because of too much mud at the bottom of that dam. And the way that dam was built, there's no spillway to get rid of any of that mud. There's a spillway to get rid of some of the water from off the top, but not the sediment. So we will inherit that, and somewhere along the line, Belize as a government or as a people will also inherit the unavailability of that facility when we can't maintain it, and we can't and we spend more money than what we'll make off of it. But who will make the money? Those who buy shares into it, who will not pay no taxes, who will not pay no kind of remuneration towards the government, because the government has already read in 1 day time, 3 readings of that program, in order for them to hurry go and pay for that stuff, so they could own it, but not for Belize. They can own it because they're going to turn around and sell shares to the public, and the ministers and all the other family members, those who have big money, will be able to buy. But the man will need while he ramen, we live on outside or any other place when I got no job, or we can't get a job, will still be suffering for hunger and other issues. They know what they're doing. That's why they also had to get it done and buy it. They didn't come to the public and explain to the public or propose to the public what they wanted to do. They just go ahead and do it because they have the control of the government purse, the treasury. It's the same thing they are doing with the prime minister having his family sell their electronic company and their internet company and their telephone company, and they want to sell also the internet company to the government semi-private BTL. They're gonna cash out, and we're gonna be left with a system that doesn't operate. And they're in a hurry to go pay for that too. Where they gonna get the money for that, for the dam, and all the other rest of things that they need to do? Where they gonna get the money for the roads, for the bridge, for the hospital, for the solar panel systems? You know, they need to level with the people. Stop play hijinks game with the people. Stop chance the people. Because at the end of the day, as the Prime Minister says, it's the people who will pay for it. Are you back, Mr. Chairman?
Thank you, Leonard. I agree with you 100% on all you have said there in terms of the fortress deal. For me, it's only me. I think that it's a bad deal that will not benefit the taxpayers and the general public. And I'll try to package this real quick. It will only benefit the person who is selling, along with the ministers and the People's United Party, right? Because they're the ones that making that deal. Cannot involve the 4 or 5 UDP there, right? They are nothing. They are nothing, in this deal. They don't even need their yes or their no, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, as many other deal, Leonard, and you mentioned a couple, 99% of all these deals that Johnny Briceño had made while sitting in office,
the big hustle.
It's a big hustle, right? His friend Ashcroft said it, right? The deal on the Digicel is not going to benefit the Belizean people, right? The deal on the hospital did not and will not benefit the Belizean people. The deal with all these ports that they're talking about and these different company, Feinstein's and the ones from Honduras and all that, and all the people that are involved, doesn't involve the Belizean people or the taxpayers, right? So, and sadly, all these deals that this man is doing is in the name of the Belizean people, right? But does the Belizean people will have any ownership at the end of the day? Are we going to know who are these players that's going to be signing on to these deals? The deal now with Fortress and the deals that they have done earlier. We want to know who these people that will be. When these suckers leave office, right? Who are these people that going to riding off with all these nice gifts?
Mr. Chairman?
Go ahead, Leonard.
If we can recall correctly, not too long ago, the Prime Minister said that he call the people in to find out why is it that they were looking to have negotiation with other venture capitalists or financiers and never give him, the Prime Minister, and the government of Belize the opportunity to buy it and get it for Belize and for Belize country. He turned around within the same breath, not too many words after that, and said he had friends in Honduras. The same people I presume that he connected with the key with the Feinstein key project when they take away Mr. Feinstein project. The same people are apparently again now. In other words, everything in we country that produces or makes some money or that will put me over the
Yes,
barrel
sir.
part.
Let me wrap up, then I'll pass it over back to you,
Sir.
Leonard. Let me
Go
wrap
ahead.
up very good.
Yes, sir.
So,
Go
in
ahead.
essence, my people, I ask, do you think that this Fortress deal that Johnny Briseno is doing again, another deal, is going to benefit you?
No,
Is your electricity going to come down?
no,
I leave you with that. I ask you, are you going to be getting your bills delivered to your house?
no,
Right? Are you going to be well informed about your billing activities the proper way?
no.
I'll pass it over to you quickly. Last thing. I recall that there were some questions posed to Johnny Briseno about all these deals, and the man he is mentioned. Don't ask me, ask Jaime. Ask Jaime. I can't see it, but ask Jaime. So isn't that telling you something? They didn't say ask the taxpayers. He didn't say go ask the tax. He said ask Jaime. And we want to know all the other Jaimes that's going to be having, piece of this big pie.
The Jaime
Right?
itself, Mr. Chairman, the Jaime itself for Mr. Briseno. But the Mr. Briseno they buy from Jaime.
So anyway,
Two
I'll
brothers.
pass it over to you, Leonard. Go ahead.
Thank
Go
you very
ahead.
much, sir.
Yeah.
I mean, just the ludicrousness of it, right? The man disowned his one brother in public in terms of not wanting to be associated with, in other words, if anybody want to be the culprit, that brother, not him. Go ask Mr. Jaime. No ask him. That he not the one who look for buy for my brother. He the use for him money for fatten for him family future well-being. While they starve we, the Belizean people, and especially the less fortunate and the more marginalized black Belizeans them per se. This man, and then the man want to get vexed because then they ask him a question. He want to get vexed and want to yell at people, and I guess he must do the other people the same thing what they do with Mr. Bunda, I guess, because that will get Mr. Bunda in a trouble. Right? So if they could do it to Mr. Bunda, then just as well could have do it to anybody else, The bottom line is that these guys are not about governance, much less good governance. They're about the big hustle. Wherever there's some money to be made, that's where that time and effort is being expended. Or when they want to go to the house to make onerous laws that doesn't make any sense in the first place, but they make it because, according to them, they have the right to violate the Constitution and then to remake the Constitution any which way they want. They're not being given proper advice by people who are supposed to know enough about the Constitution, even though they may not be lawyers. They're not following proper advice or being given proper advice from what I could see. Other than just because they're barefaced. But even if you're getting the advice, they still go ahead and do what they want. And what they want is to fatten themselves. Almost everything that any and all of these ministers have dealt with from the first time they got into office in 2020 until today date, almost everything, call me the name of any minister and show me or tell me what they had not done wrong. And I will rebut you and provide you the evidence to substantiate the fact that maybe you're mistaken. Or maybe it's just to try, go back for them or make excuses for them. But they don't care. They come and they commit the crime and do the wrong things then right now with face. And they are with to have anything to say about it, much less anything to do about it. I yield back, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Leonard.
A bunch of
My
barefaced
people, like
scoundrels.
I say, right? All these deals that this two-party system had made in this country, with that they call deals, who profited on all these deals, so-called deals, right?
Personal enrichment.
And again, I ask the question: who profits on all these laws? Because they have passed many. All these laws that they have passed, was it in the best interest of the poor and less fortunate?
That's how it was sold.
So I ask the Belizean people that question. Those of you who go and, you know, put your X on a red and a X on a blue for many years, have you profited? I want to ask you that question.
The unelected one, Mr. Chairman, said that
Right?
in the Senate just a few days ago, the leader of government business in the Senate, the unelected one, Mr. Courtney, the man with all the powers, told us that the buying of this dam and the electrical system and things would be to benefit Belize and to enhance electrical security. That's what the man said in the Senate. They always the bamboozle way. They tell me what they don't think we want here, rather than tell us the truth. So at least they go say, well, then see our face because they tell us the truth and we agree with them.
And I'm pretty sure, Leonard, that his law firm was the one that orchestrated all the legal documents.
He confessed that.
Right?
He stipulated that.
And who paid for that?
We, the Belizean people, as usual.
I want to just keep reminding the Belizean people, you know, Leonard, because we have been talking. We had talked about, you know, Wasa is next. About 6 or 8 months, no, maybe a year now. I think we had injected that.
Yep.
Right, because we see it coming.
And right on target, right on.
Right, we see it coming. Right, and they are asking for, I think, a 22% increase. If I don't make mistake, I think it's a 22% increase.
They always ask for more than what they know they're going to settle and get. You know.
So,
but they're all chances.
All I'm saying is that, you know, since it's such a nice deal, and sadly, you know, that a lot of people say it's a good deal, you know, and it will benefit the Belizean people. I see some comments all over, you know, it's going to benefit the Belizean people. That's what some are saying, right? So all I'm saying is that I hope it does. And all I say on the WASA deal that they are proposing, the raise, I mean, I saw it coming. And I just hope that, you know, they would provide a much safer product for the public, the poor people who cannot buy bottled water, right? I just hope that they put some of this money and some energy into make a purification system so that the Belizean people, you know, stop getting poisoned by the filth that comes out of these rivers, the filth that you push through these lines to the for the poor and less fortunate to drink. Because other people does not drink this water. At least I do not drink. I'm not, you know, I'm a poor man. But I do not drink the tap water right off the top. When some of our Belizean people drinks it right off the top. Even I watch school children, drinking right off the top. Then we wonder why cancer is on a rise in Belize. You wonder that why so many intestinal disease are catching our people.
Mm-hmm.
We wonder, what is happening? Well, in my view, that is one of the contributors. The water, very polluted. That's one part, and I hope that you do a proper billing system so that when the poor people come in the house and they turn on the faucet, right? And if they get cut off, that because it's their fault, because they was presented a bill, which at the moment that does not happen. So all I'm saying, I'm looking out for the poor and less fortunate, for the poor people. I know they talk about they look out for all the ones that we buy bottled water and all the nice water. Nice water. The ones them who the taxpayers pay to live a luxury life. I don't talk about them. I'm talking about the poor people, right? And this is real because I talk about what I see and what I know about your water. I have set your water for like 2 days and it turns green. Who do not believe me, try it. I might talk something stupid. People drink that. Poor people drink that. So, I just hope that all these fools that are, all these top-notch attorneys that are saying, yeah, it's a good deal for the people and this and that. I just hope that they put into that requisite there that they do better, right? Not only gallivanting and want the people's taxpayers to pay them off. No. And a little something there that will, with this taxpayer money that we say no they give you, this is what you should do. Or this is what not should this is what you must do. I talk about this because it's very important and because I see kids drinking this filthy water. Filthy. And that's they're paying for that too, It's not giving away free. They pay for that filth that they drink.
They have a meter.
So sad. And on that, right? Leonard, a dear thing to me that I have been beating for the past couple of years now is redistricting.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
The man say me and do it, Mr.
You
Chairman.
yes.
Like everything else I say,
Yes.
and do.
That's why Leonard, I say that me personally, I am the only one that does not believe that man. The rest the nation, country believe every word that comes out of that man's mouth, right? Well, I say it publicly, me, I don't believe nothing that comes out of that man's mouth. Nothing. And I don't think you could sue me for that, for where I believe, right? So, Leonard, it started back in 2012 that I have seen Mr. Edmund Marshallek had a press conference, I remember. And because the PUP was in opposition, he had a media round there, and he says that 2012, redistricting is needed and it's necessary and it's far due. And it's easy to do. So it's very easy and it costs that much. That's what I took out of that because my understanding and my comprehension and thing very, very, good because I know that educated. But out of that press conference that 2012, sat down, media says, redistricting was a problem for the PUP then. Opposition. The UDP was in office. Okay. Did it happen? No, it did not happen. The 2019 Belize peace movement took the government to court for redistricting. They gerrymandered that and we know how that ended up, right? But during that session, 2019, at the end, Mr. Courtney, the very intelligent guy, right? That the taxpayers pay a lot for his comprehension and for his intelligence, right? He said that, yes, we are going to do redistricting right after we win the 2020 election because it's necessary. And that's the same man. 2025, 2024 is fighting me and fighting Mr. Enriquez and his group, fighting me and my group. That yes, we're not ready for redistricting, and they went through all they did and the court again says, well, they struck us down, right? We see all the commotion with Judge Honduras publicly. I don't want to go through all that, but that was public.
Mr. Chairman, are you referring to the self-impeached judge? The honor light myself while he was sitting on the case,
same man,
on the docket?
Same imported judge, same imported guy. He struck us out.
It's a shame.
And he, again, now Mr. Enriquez had tried to get a quantum from the Attorney General as to what the taxpayers have spent on all these ventures to strike us out and not do redistricting. So, Mr. Attorney General says, no, we are not going to give you that, and we're not privy to that, and so he didn't get it. So he went to Mr. Suazo, the ombudsman, ex-military guy that I had worked with at some point, right? So I don't know what kind of trouble he got himself in, but he told the Attorney General, well, you need to provide that as per the Constitution, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that's where we're at, back and forth for these people to do the right thing. On Monday, I filed to the High Court. I made an appeal to the High Court on the decision of the Honduras judge, his name, Honduras, right? So that's where we're at with redistricting. And why I say this is that I watch the big hullabaloo on Budna, on deals, on laws passing, but none of them mention that, Mr. Prime Minister, we need to do redistricting. It's needed, it's necessary, and the people deserve. All that is going to do is make the country equal or near as equal in this constituency. Equal or near as equal.
Mm-hmm.
But what these fools want to tell, they don't want to do that. No, they will not do that. Why? In my view, you have a couple of fools that don't want to give up to the 3,000 people, right? Or 2,000 change. You think these young, hefty ministers, they're rich now, you think they want to give that up? Right? So, I guess it's only the High Court or the higher court will force them to do that. That's how I see that. Now, are we going to have yet another illegal election based on our constitution? What our constitution are demanding from our leaders to do? I want to see how strong these people are again. March coming will be election again in this country, town board and city council. So let's see right? Like you said, Leonard, this man promised, oh yeah, we'll do it. He was buying in a corner and thing. But does he mean that?
No
He
changes,
don't
Mr.
mean
Chairman.
a damn thing that he says. Not a word that comes out of his mouth he mean. He said it because it's the right thing for him to say. But him having the power to do it, he will not do it. So, Leonard, I will not go much more on that, but because of time restraint and things, so let's see where you at with this chicken. Where are we at so far? That's how you see it.
Mr. Chairman, what if I just make my commentary about 5 words? Would that be good enough to cover the rest of the time? I'm just kidding. I'm just messing around.
No man, no, you got
I'm
5
not
minutes.
known for making a 5-word statement and that's the end of it. So I'm just kidding. But seriously speaking, these people promised that they were going to do what was right. They complained that the previous government did not do what was right, and that if they got themselves elected, they was going to make sure that they do what was right. They promised. The next election came by. They didn't do what was right, and then they promised again. Yeah, next time we're going to try. We're going to do it next time. And I can guarantee you that every next time that they could count on or tell you about will come about, and it will not be done. Why? They have no interest in doing what's right. They do what's convenient for them. And what's convenient for them is that they've been winning the elections the way things are, and they don't want to have no changes to them. Simple as that. So they're not going to do what's right. They have no interest in doing so, no intent in doing so. And as far as they can see, it wouldn't benefit them to have to alter anything or doing anything. So I can say for sure, the next election in March that you're talking about will come, and we will still probably be talking about the same subject. And the other one will come after that, and we will still keep talking about this subject. And the next one will come, and others will come, and they will keep coming, because this issue is not just today, 2025. This issue is from 1996 was the first time that I brought this matter up to the Election and Boundaries, and I gave them computerized systems to show them how to be able to calculate their election results and everything else about the election. They accepted it. They still never follow through. As a matter of fact, they end up hiring an outside firm to do for them the very same thing that I already given to them for free. All they do is they snub and they ignore, and that's how they roll. Kill the time, let the time go by, and they don't adjust what needs to be adjusted. It's management. Not just management, bad management, in other words, like some Creole people that say. They're bad, they're devious, they're evil, they're up to no good. But the people still go and vote them back in. Why? The people that enjoy them bukut. Some people don't like the smell of bukut, you know. But others like the taste of it. And that's basically, they're settling for that, and that's what we're getting. I yield back, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you.
You're welcome, sir.
And Leonard, they have no shame, They have no shame with this little constituency, and some of these guys hold big office. They are ministers, and they feel, with 2,000 change people, right, in their constituency, and they feel like they're, people's gift, right? This is a gift to the people, and so sad last election, two of them they didn't even, and they find a way to gerrymander. They weren't even being contested. Automatically they stay with their ministership, right? Automatic, right? What a shame! And they sit a whole big position.
But
Right?
Mr. Chairman, what about the Mesopotamia division that had less than
So
2,000 people,
so
2,000 people vote in our division? With three
so my
different
thing,
people.
yeah. So my thing, Leonard, is that this two-party system, they're
Crazy.
okay with it. None of them want to, right? The lady have other issues and thing, but this very important issue too. I agree, her issues, but this is a very important issue too. Unkak. Why none of them want to bring it up? None of them.
They promised they were going to do it.
They promise, yes, like I say, right? Which is very important. That's a critical element to hold these people in check. Critical element, right? None of them want to do it. I watch the villages that are popping up around this nation, and right away they get a name. They get a name, and villages are popping up,
And
right?
everybody getting lands.
So I just say this to say that, my people, open your eyes. These people sit in little corners and they conspire, right? They sit and figure out how they could stay in power and how they can get money to stay in power. It's all about power and money, right? So I tie these villages, Leonard, to power, right? Because these villages are popping up while this People's United Party in power. So there's lots of things going on behind the scene. These villages are not only just popping up like that, there's a reason. So I say this to say that, redistricting is needed, right? And it seems that this is a uphill battle, right, to get the government to do a simple thing, and to do what is right. Is very simple, right? We had narrowed it down to less than 4 hours based on the software that we had presented on a couple of times on our Belizean Affairs show, right? From experts, there's software. In fact, the man Marshall-elect had mentioned that in 2012 on his interview, and I'm not lying, right? So why the big fuss? Why fighting us like we are the bad people? Why fighting me and my crowd, right? That we are bad people. Look what we want get done. We shouldn't even mention any kind of concern we and right. So look where they have us. Just because we Belize Peace Movement, they tell them that redistricting needs to be done. And the Constitution of this country is telling you that you need to do it and how you need to do it. Like I says, the landed man had mentioned in 2012, it's needed to be done and it's easy. We on this program went through lengths. Leonard, you remember? We showed them how
Yes,
it could
sir.
have done, right?
Yes, sir.
Redistricting, right?
But
So
We can't make them do what they don't want to do, Mr. Chairman.
Exactly.
And that's
Right.
the end of the story because they are proving that to be the case.
Yes. So I just hope that the electorate are seen, and I hope that they start demanding, right, for accountability, demanding for their government to do what is right. It's only fair that they make the country equal or near as equal. It's only fair. What do they have to lose, right? What you cannot lose once you do the right thing, Mr. Brisenio, right? Maybe you will win again and keep winning. You never know. But just do the right thing because, again, in this country, you know how you could buy votes. You know how votes are being bought, right? But do the redistricting, and then you think about gather that money to buy the votes again, right? So, that's only my view on this problem. For me, it's a big problem because I contest an area that over 9,000 people. While I do not like the Musa guys for the little bit of people they have in their constituency, I do not like how the Chinese guy, the Lima Chan, and the Shine guy when he had these little bit of people, right? And they have big name, right? I do not like that. Where is the equal, right? But you want to say something, Leonard? Go ahead.
Yes, sir. The government has no interest in doing the redistricting. And if they do it, they can still do it to benefit themselves at the end of the day. But they're just being spiteful to prove to you and I and everybody else who are clamoring for them to do the right thing that they don't have to do the right thing just because we asked them to do so, because they didn't volunteer to do it on their own. They're just being spiteful. That's all it's all about. It's evil. Okay? There's no other way to put it other than to say it's evil. Other than to use a few choice words, which I'm not too fond of doing. So I'll just leave it at that. These guys are outright evil. I yield back, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you very much, Leonard. And like I say,
Thank you.
for the last time, I call on the so-called opposition that we have in this country to bring that up in the next Senate or the next House meeting. Bring that up, UNCAC and redistricting. I beg you, as a taxpayer, because I pay you to advocate for the people. That's your job.
Mr. Chairman?
Yes, sir.
While we may wish for them to do that, according to the rules of the House, they just can't bring up any arbitrary topic that is not part of the agenda until after the when the Prime Minister and the ministers then done bring up for their subject that they need to report on, and then for the adjournment, then the opposition have a chance to open up on random thoughts. But normally they just, because they are not the one who propose things or bring things to the House. It is the government that through cabinet bring things to the House, and because they have such a super majority, they don't have a tendency to accept nothing that has to do with the opposition or give the opposition any kind of say. All they do is they clong them out, and it's a game being played, and most people don't understand or know it. And we are the victim of people who are jackals and hyenas. Okay, they know what's right, they know what's wrong, and they refuse to do what's right, and they dare us to make them do what's wrong.
However, they could find a way to bring that up. I beg them. The same way they bring up the Buddha thing and throw that in, they could fit that in, right? And throw that in, at least for a brief moment, so the world and the people could know, yeah, well, you know what? We did talk about it, right? So maybe they would have a little shame. Just say that. I know they don't have shame, but I say just maybe. And on that note, I'm Leonard. It's a pleasure to, sit in your company, my brother. And I just hope that,
Pleasure is mine too, Mr. Chairman.
I just hope, and Greg has been having some issues there. They've been hitting, right? Apparently, maybe they don't want. It's only my view. They don't want him to show and tell much, as that when he show and tell, speaks volume, right? So that's only my thought. Um, it's a pleasure for him to sit with him for that brief moment, and we look forward, Leonard, for your chairmanship on Friday, whether how that plays out, and we just
Well,
hope that tonight's
as,
program.
as of right now, I'm not too sure how that this coming Friday will play out because I'll be on the run, and
Okay, okay.
if things
Well,
work
we'll
out,
talk here.
we'll
Yeah.
still have it, But if it
Yes,
doesn't
sir.
work out, then more likely
Yes,
than
sir.
not,
Yes, sir. Thank you again. Those who watch us and those who will watch us a little later. We thank you for your support, and I just hope that tonight's program, again, shed a little light on the things that we talk about, the things that interest we, right? And we are true patriots of our people and nation.
yeah.
At least I know myself and Leonard, we are true patriots. And Greg, right? At the three of us, we are true patriots. I can't speak for anyone else, but based on our action and the things we do, and things we say, by now, Leonard, I think that most people who watch us know that we are true patriots, right? So,
We've been on a long journey, Mr.
yes,
Chairman.
sir. Thank you.
We gotta
So
hang in
true.
there.
So true. And
Imagine
thank
how it,
you, and my
imagine how
people.
it would have been otherwise.
And exactly, my people. Like when we first opened, we talk about the storm threat, right, and the accidents. Be mindful, take heed, right, and I close
Right.
off with that, right. Please take heed, right, and watch the weather report, and please move from your location if you feel threat and you see threat coming. Don't wait until it reaches. Move before it reaches, right. So on that note, I want to say thank you and good night,
Good
Leonard.
night. Good night, Mr. Chairman. Good night, Belizeans at home and abroad. God bless.